有時咧即係啱遇着光光。今個月咧，我係想翻譯翻7年前 Paul Hellyer 接受俄國電視台嘅訪問，但係點知就係今個月8月8號咧就與世長辭，撒手塵寰。咁佢喺冷戰時代1963至67年咧去做國防部部長咧，都係一件唔簡單嘅事。即係上半部都講過啦，佢係喺佢卸任嘅時候公開咁承認，雖然不及梅德韋傑夫喺任內承認。但係如果縱觀全球同埋啲國家級元首嚟講咧，即係卸任後又承認有 UFO 嘅咧，其實真係難能可貴，買少見少㗎啦。即係見佢哋逐個咁樣爆料人與世長辭咧，真係百般嘅滋味在心頭。喺上半部咧，佢承認有 UFO， 並且咧有至少係4個種族甚至更加多，已經咧有一啲喺地球上面生活添。跟住下半部咧，我哋會繼續聽下有冇其他嘅例子同埋補充。
And we're back with Paul Hellyer, former Canadian Minister of Defense, to talk about extraterrestrial life forms. Great to have you back. So these extraterrestrial creatures, where did they come from and how did they get here to Earth?
They come from various places. For a long while, I only knew about ones who came from different star systems. The Pleiades and Reta Reticula and several other star systems, but in the last few months I have met people who have made me aware of that there are some in our star system, and that there are actually extraterrestrials who live on a planet called Andromeda, which is one of the moons of Saturn, and that there are others on Venus and some on Mars, and that they may be interacting between themselves. I suspect that they are, because there is what is called a federation of these people, and they have rules. For example, one of the rules is that they don't interfere in our affairs unless they're invited to, and that's one of the reasons probably that we haven't seen more of them until very recently. And so
but what do you mean? There are a lot of people who want to interact with them. There are a lot of people who actually want to see them and know who they are. What, they need a special invitation to interact with us? What does it mean? They don't want to interfere into our affairs.
Well, they don't want to tell us how to run our affairs. They have accepted the fact this is our planet and that we have the right to run it. But they're very, very concerned. They don't think we're good stewards of our planet. We're not. We're clear-cutting our forests, and we're polluting our rivers and our lakes, and we're dumping sewage in the oceans, and we're doing all sorts of things which are not what good stewards of their homes should be doing. And they don't like that, and they've made it very clear. And as a matter of fact, they have given us a warning.
How?
And this has come from more than one source.
How have they made it clear? What have they done?
They have talked to people. One of the chaps I talked to about a month ago was interacting with them in 1974, he and his brother in Peru, and they were taken to Andromeda, teleported, and they were told what the people there think, and that we're really wrecking our planet, and in fact that something dreadful is going to happen to it if we don't smarten up and change our ways. We spend too much time fighting each other, we spend too much money on military expenditures and not enough on feeding the poor and looking after the homeless and the sick, and that we are polluting our waters and our air, and that we're playing around with these exotic weapons, thermonuclear weapons and atomic weapons, which have such a devastating effect both on our Earth and on other areas in the cosmos, and they don't like that. And that's the reason they would like to work with us to teach us better ways, but only, I think, with our consent. And they work through individuals, and they try and pick out individuals who won't be frightened to death of them, because they can give you quite a fright. One of the cases I'm familiar with was the tall whites in Nevada, where the United States Airmen working with them, were just frightened to death of them. And one, Charles Hall, rescued the daughter of one of the high-up people in the tall whites, and as a result became very good friends with the mother. And as soon as they could trust each other, they had a wonderful relationship. And he wrote a book about it. It's called Millennial Hospitality. Millennial Hospitality. And it tells you how you go through these stages of being scared out of your wits. But then when you establish a trust and a working relationship, why you can have the same relationship, same kind of relationship that you would have with someone here on Earth.
講到一啲係書籍嘅資料呢，咁我不得不再澄清呢，就唔係你一出書呢，就證明係事實嘅，因為你要睇返寫書嘅人嘅背景同埋佢所得嘅資料邊度嚟。咁之前有分析過啦，點解我會信 Richard Doty？ 因為佢前空軍特工呢個身份啊嘛，所以佢接觸嘅資料應該係一手㗎啦，又或者係就算係二手啊，都係軍方嘅資料嚟㗎嘛。咁如果你係民間資料嘅話，2、3、4、5手咧，咁可信性咧相對弱好多。一樣啦，呢度介紹嘅 Millennial Hospitality 咧，咁個作者就係 Charles James Hall， 又係一個美國嘅前軍人，咁佢自己爆料嚟嘅，佢出書。咁好特別就係咧，俄國爆料裏邊咧都有 quote 到呢本書喎，不過我就譯錯咗名，嗰時我就話係 Charles Hall， 咁我澄清翻啦，依家係 Charles James Hall。咁佢係話喺基地裏邊喺內華達州嘅裏邊咧，空軍基地咧係見到有外星人，佢都有同佢哋接觸，嗰啲叫做高大白 tall whites。所以寫書人嘅身份係好緊要。咁當然啦，佢係軍人唔代表佢完全係可信嘅，佢係軍人都可以呃你嘅。只不過因為佢係前軍人身份、前特工身份咧，佢有嘅資料一定係比普通人、普通嘅 UFO 群體所寫嘅書咧，可信性係更加高。咁但係信不信就由你自己選擇啦。
But here's what I'm thinking: if you're outing their presence, which is clearly not what they want, since they're hiding, why aren't they? Why aren't they so afraid of? Why aren't you afraid of repercussions? Because you're obviously stating that they're here among us, and you're telling me all these species that exist.
They are here among us, and I'm not afraid because in most cases, as far as technology is concerned, they're light years ahead of us, and we have learned a lot of things from them. A lot of the things that we use today, we got from them, lead lights and microchips and Kevlar vests and all sorts of things that we got from their technology, and we could get a lot more too, especially in the fields of medicine and agriculture, if we would go about it peacefully. But I think maybe some of our people are more interested in getting their military technology, and I think that's wrong. I think that's wrong-headed, and that's one of the things that we're going to have to change, because we're going to have to work together.
Talking about
all of us, everywhere on the planet.
咁 LED microchip 同埋防彈內衣咧，其實都有人類嘅發明家嘅。咁究竟呢啲嘅科技係純粹係由人類自己去發明啊，定係外星人直接俾個藍本靚料你接住啦？定係喺嗰個腦電波個傳遞嘅意識，你認為自己有嘅 insight， 其實咧就係外星人俾你嘅？有冇咁嘅可能咧？咁啊，真實嘅就無從稽考啦。咁呢度咧就作一個參考。
You've mentioned military technology and swapping technologies and barters between aliens and people in American government. I want to ask you, as a former Minister of Defense of Canada, Is interstellar war a possibility? Should we be creating a Star Wars force to defend ourselves from possible invasion or something like that?
Well, I think it's a possibility, but it's a possibility especially if we shoot down every UFO that comes in our airspace without asking who they are or what they want. And right from the beginning, we started scrambling planes and trying to shoot them down, but their technology was superior enough that we weren't able to get away with it, certainly not for a long while. And during that period of time, they could have taken us over without any trouble if they'd wanted to. So I think we have to, rather than develop our own Star Wars, Earth Star Wars, to protect ourselves against them, that we should work with the benign species, who are the vast majority, and work together and rely largely on them, of course, and cooperate so that we would be contributing something at the same time. But I don't think there's any point in us developing a galactic force that would tempt us to go out on our own and get into mischief, which is one of the things I think some of them are concerned about.
But what do you expect to happen if people start to believe in alien existence on Earth? Because things are definitely going to change. Our lives aren't going to be the same anymore.
Well, I hope that's the case. I hope that's the case, and I'm all for full disclosure, and I'm going to push very hard for full disclosure in the book I'm writing, and to give some reasons for it, things that we really have to know and have a right to know, and that our future as a species, and here I mean all of the species in the world, are potentially at risk if we don't figure out what's going on and work together to try and make life more amenable for all of us.
But it's
and to work with our neighbors from other planets as well.
But still, I'm thinking to myself, if they've been here for such a long time, as you say, and they're interested in helping humanity, as you say, why is our world such a mess? I mean, if you want to help someone, you just help someone. You don't wait that someone to invite you to help that someone, no?
Well, it's something that I think parents can sometimes say to their children, this is what you should do. But that doesn't mean the children are going to do it, does it? Because the cosmos is based on free choice. And we're given the option of making mistakes, of making wrong choices. And I guess what bothers some of us is we've made too many wrong choices and not enough right choices. So we're going to have to start switching our priorities and stop spending so much time and effort and weapons to kill each other or to dominate each other, and spending a lot more time on how to help each other to have a better life and a more just society, and a life which is healthier and where the health care is better, and where the food distribution is better, and where the air is cleaner and the water is cleaner, and all of those things that are waiting to be done if we just get together and row, as we say, rowboat, row in the right direction, the same direction. And it's possible, but it's a tall order, and so far we haven't done it. My thesis will be that we have to do it, and we have to start doing it right away.
Thank you so much for this interesting interview and insight on extraterrestrial.
即係我覺得前加拿大嘅國防部長都講得好好嘅，100宗嘅報告100宗都係真嘅咧，其實可能最後得2成係真嘅啫。咁但係我哋真係要抽絲剝繭，去蕪存菁，家係前國防部長講嘅嘢喎，唔係一個普通阿伯話 YouTuber 亂噏喎。咁當然啊，你仍然可以當佢一個普通阿伯嘅，咁呢個係你自己嘅選擇。或者有啲人咧，一講到呢個題目一 UFO 咧，你又當係一個戲言，或者又係娛樂新聞。但係其實你一路引申落去嘅時候咧，如果真係有外星種族，而且唔止4種，佢頭先之後話到係有80種嘅話咧，其實我哋以人類嘅歷史或者有好多嘅解讀咧，係完全係有全新嘅開始。之前有分享過嘅就係 based on 呢個紀錄片 Acknowledge， 即係頭嗰4個嘅 UFO 影片啦。咁起碼 Free Energy 嘅裏邊，免費能源其實已經改變咗我哋好多嘢。我哋真係可以唔需要再為生活去憂慮，為能源憂慮，因為我哋有 Free Energy。又何必再去污染地球呢？即係呢個 We are not alone 呢樣嘢咧係非常之緊要。即係起碼原來我唔係自己一個人住啦，舉個例，原來我有鄰居嘅。咁你要係愛人如己 ，OK？要做好鄰舍。咁依家咧唔單止係你喺地球裏邊同地球人做好鄰舍 ，OK？你都要係識得去交友，並且係同呢個唔同嘅 species 做好鄰舍。你不只係單止係愛地球、愛地球人，你都愛唔同星系嘅人。即係正如之前所講啦，我哋要做好鄰舍，我哋要愛人如己。其實依家咧係由地球係廣移去到宇宙啫，其實呢啲大原則咧係冇變到嘅。所以我都同意前加拿大國防部長嘅説話嘅，即係長遠嚟講要團結，要和平。即係同埋除咗要做好鄰舍啦。咁你都唔會話同所有唔識嘅陌生人做朋友噶嘛，咁你都要小心交友，唔好濫交噶嘛，一樣咯。如果有1至2種嘅種族係可能存心不良嘅時候咧，咁我哋都要小心咯。咁其實依家睇翻有啲人咧，佢哋有2樣嘢憂慮嘅。第一就係咧，佢哋已經一早假設咧，如果係外星人嘅話就一定係好嘅，咁係要小心啦。呢個第一，即係原來即係前國防部長都講咗咯。唔係所有都係好人嚟㗎，唔係所有生命體都係好嘅生命體，我哋要小心啦。呢個此其一。雖然大部分都係好好，因為如果佢哋一早立心不良啊，一早就已經係一統地球啦，一早係侵佔咗地球，但係佢哋冇咁做啊嘛。所以其實大部分都係好尊重我哋。但係如果真係有啲立心不良，我哋小心咯，就好似我哋唔會亂咁交朋友一樣。另一邊廂咧就係呢個係我自己一個嘅少少題外話。有一啲咧就好中意用通靈嘅方法、冥想嘅方法咧去接觸咧呢啲嘅外星生命體，但係其實呢啲通靈啊、冥想咧，咁你有可能係俾其他嘢入侵嘅喎。即係如果用翻即係啲基督教嘅術語咧，可能俾啲邪靈入侵，因為你倒空咗自己啊嘛，就好似間空屋咁，你邀請啲嘢入嚟，你又唔知嗰啲係咩嚟嘅，你假設咗嗰啲乜都係好咧，咁啊好危險。所以千祈要小心，尤其是係講到嗰啲嘅通靈啦，尤其是係講到嗰啲嘅打坐啦，要萬二分小心，唔好亂試。好，到咗一個總結嘅時間，就係因為咧，依家我哋已經有軍方認證嘅4段影片啦，即係我哋有實質證據嘅，亦都追溯翻以前咧，其實都有雷達嘅證據嘅，所以再平衡。睇埋唔同嘅見證人，依家有前國防部長啦，我哋之前有引用到前特工啦，一啲基地嘅軍人啦，有第6位登月太空人啦 Edgar Mitchell 啦等等嘅資料嘅時候咧，咁啊真係非常之精彩。我唔係話佢哋100%可信，但係起碼一定係比三姑六婆或者普通 YouTuber 講嘅嘢更加可信咯。咁當然啦，究竟會唔會有一啲嘅外星嘅種族就係聖經所講被視為係天使嘅咧？咁呢個就資料所限，就好難解釋。咁但係起碼因為聖經嗰個嘅目的咧，佢就唔係去解答呢啲千古懸謎嘅。聖經嗰個目的咧係講人罪嘅問題同埋解決方法。咁啊，要了解嘅即係要了解，咁嗰啲嘅外星嘅種族會唔會都係被算為天使嘅一種，諸如此類咧，咁呢個可能真係要翻天家先知啦。如果大家喜歡以上嘅影片咧，請 like、share 同 subscribe，多謝各位，拜拜。